There is a brilliant, undeniable light breaking through the atmosphere right now, a radiant, holy frequency that has just attuned itself perfectly to the very rhythm of your heartbeat. You have been summoned. You have been handpicked from the vast, unending multitudes of humanity, called out by your specific, sacred name by the Creator of the stars, to step into a season of unimaginable grace and profound, holy purpose. This message, finding its way to your eyes and ears at this exact, unrepeatable moment in the fabric of time, is not a random collision of digital data. It is not an algorithmic accident born of a machine. It is a divine appointment, orchestrated in the heavens long before the foundations of the earth were ever laid. The universe is aligning precisely to deliver this truth to your weary spirit. You are a chosen one. You are deeply loved, fiercely protected, and you are being called upward into a glorious light that will shatter every shadow that has tried to claim you. I know the weight you have been carrying. I know it intimately, because the spiritual realm echoes with the sound of your silent endurance. For so long, you have been walking a path that feels entirely uphill, carrying burdens that were never meant for your shoulders alone. I see the hidden tears that you wipe away before anyone else can notice. I see the silent battles you fight in the darkest hours of the night, when the house is entirely still and your mind is a raging storm of anxieties, questions, and fears. I know the exhaustion that settles deep into your bones, a profound, spiritual fatigue that sleep cannot cure. You are a person who gives so endlessly, pouring out your love, your energy, your empathy, and your resources into the lives of everyone around you, only to find your own cup desperately empty. You have been the strong one for so many. You have been the anchor, the counselor, the steadfast friend, the reliable worker, the dutiful child, the faithful servant. But in the quietness of your own sanctuary, you have looked up at the ceiling and whispered to God, asking when it will finally be your turn to be held. You thought you were forgotten when the doors slammed shut in your face, one after another, despite your relentless knocking. You thought you were abandoned when the people you trusted most, the people you swore would be by your side forever, suddenly walked away, leaving you questioning your own worth. You thought you were discarded when the prayers you prayed with such desperate faith seemed to bounce off a ceiling made of brass. You thought you were invisible when your hardest efforts went completely unacknowledged, while those who gave half the effort seemed to reap double the reward. You thought you were entirely alone when the calling on your life felt less like a magnificent destiny and more like a crushing, suffocating weight. But you were not forgotten. You were not abandoned. You were not discarded. You were hidden. You were being concealed in the shadow of the Almighty. Right now, I need you to pause. I need you to take a deep, slow breath, and I need you to declare your alignment with this divine truth. Go to the comments right now and write, "I am stepping into the stillness to receive my promise." As you type those words, let it be a physical act of faith, a drawing of a line in the spiritual sand. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel to anchor yourself to this prophetic word, sealing your covenant with the restoration that is already moving toward you. Let us look at the reality of what you have survived. The drought in your finances has not just been a lack of numbers in a bank account, it has been a relentless, grinding pressure that has tried to steal your peace and make you a slave to fear. You have looked at the bills, you have looked at the diminishing resources, and you have felt the cold grip of panic wrapping around your throat. The breakdown of your relationships has not just been about losing contact with people, it has been a surgical tearing of your heart, a betrayal that made you build walls so high and so thick that you wondered if anyone would ever truly know you again. The physical and mental exhaustion has not just been a need for a vacation, it has been a somatic manifestation of an intense, unseen spiritual warfare. The enemy has tried to wear down the saints, targeting your mind with brain fog, your body with unexplainable aches, and your spirit with a heavy, suffocating apathy. And the silence in your calling, oh, the agonizing silence in your calling. You know, deep in your core, that you are meant for greatness. You feel the burning of a high calling in your chest. Yet, your current reality looks absolutely nothing like the vision God placed in your spirit. You are entirely frustrated by the vast, unbridgeable chasm between the promise you received and the process you are enduring. But to understand the magnitude of your destiny, you must understand the architecture of your waiting. Look at the life of Joseph. Joseph was given a magnificent, colorful coat and a dream of absolute authority. He was shown the end from the beginning. But the journey to the throne required the darkness of the pit. You must understand the agony of Joseph, thrown into a dry cistern by his own brothers, the people who shared his blood, the people who should have protected him. Imagine the betrayal, the confusion, the profound grief as he sat in the dirt, listening to them eat a meal above him while deciding his fate. And then, the slavery in Potiphar's house, doing menial labor when he was destined for royalty. And when he acted with perfect integrity, fleeing temptation, his reward was not promotion, but a false accusation and a prison sentence. Imagine Joseph in the dungeon, translating the dream for the cupbearer, begging to be remembered, only to endure 2 more agonizing, silent years of being completely forgotten by man. But God had not forgotten Joseph. The delay was not a denial, it was the exact divine calibration required. God was not punishing Joseph, he was preparing the prime minister of Egypt. If Joseph had been released a day earlier, he would have been a free man in a famine. But released on God's perfect timeline, he became the savior of the known world. Your pit is not your grave, chosen one. It is your incubator. Look at David, anointed by the prophet Samuel. The oil ran down his head, declaring him the king of Israel. But the very next day, he was sent back out into the isolation of the sheep pastures. He defeated Goliath, experiencing a massive, public victory, only to spend the next decade of his life running as a fugitive, hiding in cold, damp caves from a mad king who wanted to put a spear through his chest. Imagine David's frustration. He had the anointing, he had the promise, but his reality was the wilderness of En-Gedi. He was surrounded by the distressed, the in debt, and the discontented. He was leading a band of broken men while the throne that rightfully belonged to him was occupied by his enemy. But in the caves, David was learning how to lead. In the wilderness, David was learning total dependence on God. The delay was forging a king who would be a man after God's own heart, not a tyrant corrupted by sudden power. You must understand the profound spiritual mechanism of pain and delay. The great theologian C.S. Lewis captured this mystery perfectly when he wrote, "We can ignore even pleasure. But pain insists upon being attended to." God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Your suffering, your waiting, your intense discomfort is not a sign of God's absence. It is the overwhelming, undeniable volume of his presence, shouting over the noise of the world, commanding your attention. The pain was the megaphone used to awaken you from a life of mediocrity. The crushing pressure was the megaphone used to shatter your reliance on your own strength, your own cleverness, your own ability to manipulate outcomes. God had to strip away every artificial support system, every false idol of security, every toxic relationship you were clinging to, so that he could become your absolute, unshakable foundation. The pain was not meant to destroy you, it was meant to deafen you to the world's distractions so you could finally hear the specific, undeniable frequency of your true calling. I want you to pause again. I want you to actively participate in this breaking of chains. Go to the comments and declare with absolute conviction, I surrender my striving and accept my divine acceleration. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let this simple action be a stake driven into the ground, marking the end of your season of wandering and the beginning of your season of receiving. The exhaustion you feel is the direct result of striving. You have been trying to force open doors that God locked for your protection. You have been trying to perform spiritual CPR on relationships and situations that God had purposefully laid to rest. You have been operating in your own anxious energy, trying to negotiate with the universe, trying to mathematically calculate your breakthrough, trying to outsmart your own season of waiting. But the fundamental law of the kingdom is this: when you calm down, the universe brings everything that is yours. The miraculous does not chase the chaotic. God's providence does not compete with your panic. The frantic scrambling of your hands is actually blocking the very blessings you are desperately reaching for. Look at the archetype of Ruth. Ruth lost everything. She lost her husband, her security, her status, her home. She followed her bitter mother-in-law, Naomi, into a strange land, a land where she was a despised foreigner. She had every reason to panic. She had every reason to hustle, to manipulate, to force a solution. But what did Ruth do? She went into the fields of Boaz and she simply gleaned. She stayed steady. She kept her head down, working faithfully in the lowest position, trusting in the providence of the God she had chosen. She didn't scheme to meet Boaz. Her quiet, steadfast, calm diligence positioned her perfectly for Boaz to notice her. She was calm in the face of absolute destitution, and the universe, guided by the sovereign hand of God, brought her the owner of the field, a kinsman redeemer, and placed her directly into the bloodline of the Messiah. Consider Nehemiah, tasked with the impossible mission of rebuilding the ruined walls of Jerusalem. When he began the work, the enemy rose up. Sanballat and Tobiah mocked him, threatened him, and tried to draw him into chaotic conflict. They sent letters, they spread rumors, they created an atmosphere of intense psychological warfare. But Nehemiah did not panic. He did not abandon the wall to fight them on their level. He stayed calm. He kept a sword in one hand and a trowel in the other, and he simply said, "I am doing a great work and I cannot come down." He maintained his peace in the midst of hostility, and the walls were miraculously rebuilt in just 52 days. Your calm focus is your ultimate weapon against the warfare designed to distract you. And look at Hagar, wandering in the desolate, scorching desert of Beersheba with her son Ishmael. The water in the skin was entirely gone. She was overcome by the terror of impending death, thrusting the boy under a bush so she wouldn't have to watch him die, walking away, and weeping in chaotic despair. She was blinded by her panic. She was blinded by her tears. But the scripture says God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. The well had not suddenly materialized out of nowhere, it was already there. But her panic, her crying, her frantic distress had completely blinded her to the provision that was sitting right next to her. When God calmed her down, when he spoke to her from heaven, her eyes were open to the blessing that already existed. How many wells of provision, how many open doors, how many divine connections are sitting right next to you, completely invisible to you because your mind is operating in a state of chaotic survival? The delay you have experienced was actually profound, merciful divine protection. It was the deepest spiritual surgery. God has been working on your root system. You see, a tall, magnificent tree cannot survive a violent storm if its roots are shallow. If God had given you the massive blessing, the platform, the wealth, the relationship, or the calling before your roots were deep enough to sustain it, the very blessing you prayed for would have crushed you. The weight of the glory would have destroyed your character. So, he hid you in the dark soil of obscurity. He allowed the drought so your roots would be forced to stretch deep into the earth, searching for the living water that only he can provide. He protected your covenant by pruning away the superficial branches, the fair weather friends, the opportunities that looked good but carried hidden compromises. He broke your reliance on human validation, curing you of the disease to please people, so that you would only move at the sound of his voice. C.S. Lewis gives us a stunning, masterful illustration of this agonizing, transformative process. He writes, "Imagine yourself as a living house. God comes in to rebuild that house. At first, perhaps, you can understand what he is doing. He is getting the drains right and stopping the leaks in the roof and so on. You knew that those jobs needed doing and so you are not surprised. But presently he starts knocking the house about in a way that hurts abominably and does not seem to make any sense. What on earth is he up to? The explanation is that he is building quite a different house from the one you thought of, throwing out a new wing here, putting on an extra floor there, running up towers, making courtyards. You thought you were being made into a decent little cottage, but he is building a palace. He intends to come and live in it himself. This is the absolute truth of your current season. You thought the tearing down of your plans was a punishment. You thought the shattered dreams and the lost opportunities were a sign of your failure. You just wanted to be a comfortable, decent little cottage. You just wanted a normal life, a simple job, a predictable relationship. But God came in with a sledgehammer of divine love, knocking down the flimsy walls of your limited expectations, excavating deep into the bedrock of your soul, because he is building a palace of purpose. The pain of the reconstruction is entirely proportional to the magnitude of the glory that will reside within you. The deeper the excavation, the higher the elevation. Do not miss this moment. Anchor this truth into your reality right now. Go to the comments and declare, "My season of preparation has produced a palace of purpose." Let the algorithm of the Spirit record your faith. Like this video, subscribe, and align yourself completely with the magnificent architecture of God's plan for your life. And now, we approach the shift. I am here to announce, with absolute prophetic authority, an incoming season of divine acceleration and suddenlies. The long, agonizing winter of your soul is breaking. The ice is cracking. The dormant seeds buried deep within the dark soil of your waiting are beginning to violently sprout. You are about to step into a cinematic, spiritual restoration that will leave you absolutely breathless. The years that the locust has eaten, the stripping, the waiting, the crying, the isolation, it is all culminating right now. God is about to press fast forward on your destiny. But the key, the absolute prerequisite to accessing this divine acceleration, is stillness. Be still, and know that I am God. The Hebrew word for be still here is rapha, which means to let go, to surrender, to drop your weapons, to completely relax. It means to stop fighting God's timing and to stop fighting the process. When you calm down, the universe brings everything that is yours. Look at Elijah, running for his life from Queen Jezebel, entirely exhausted, suicidal, and hiding in a cave on Mount Horeb. He experienced the great wind that tore the mountains apart, but God was not in the wind. He experienced the terrifying earthquake, but God was not in the earthquake. He experienced the raging fire, but God was not in the fire. God was in the gentle, quiet whisper. God was in the calm. God was in the absolute stillness. When you finally stop resisting the process, when you drop your shoulders, release your clenched fists, take a deep breath, and surrender your desperate need to control the outcome, a magnificent shift occurs in the spiritual atmosphere. The warfare breaks. The anxiety dissolves. The frantic energy dissipates. And in that holy void of stillness, the magnet of your divine destiny activates. The people who are assigned to your next level will suddenly be drawn to you. The financial doors that have been rusted shut for a decade will effortlessly swing open on the hinges of grace. The healing that you have been begging for will wash over your body and your mind like a gentle morning rain. The vindication against those who slandered you will be swift and total, requiring absolutely no defense from your own mouth. You do not need to chase the blessing is currently chasing you. You do not need to manipulate the outcome has already been secured by the blood of the covenant. You are standing on the precipice of a massive, undeniable breakthrough. The closed doors were a mercy. The pain was a megaphone. The delay was an architectural masterpiece. You are not a victim of your circumstances, you are a chosen vessel, meticulously prepared for a release of glory that will impact generations. Take one final, deep breath. Release the trauma of the waiting. Release the bitterness of the betrayal. Release the exhaustion of the journey. You have survived the preparation. You have passed the test of the wilderness. Now, step out of the cave. The universe is aligning. Heaven is moving. Calm your spirit, quiet your mind, and prepare your hands to receive the overwhelming, overflowing abundance that is rightfully yours. Leave your final declaration in the comments. I am completely still, and I receive my total restoration now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and walk confidently into the radiant, magnificent dawn of your new season. You are chosen, you are ready, and your time is right now.